I woke up this morning and said, let me say some controversial shit that's gonna get me canceled. I think the Wii U was pretty good. Wait, where are you going? Come back, we're not done yet. I even like the big iPad controller it came with. Okay, wait, guys, seriously? Grow up. It's good. The Wii U was released in North America in November 2012, and it was the worst performing Nintendo console to date in terms of sales, selling around 13.5 million units. For context, here are the total sales of every other Nintendo console. The Switch sold as many units in just the first period of 2022 as the Wii U in 5 years. That hurts. The Wii U was Nintendo's successor to its smash hit console in 2006, the Wii. But unlike the Wii U did not enjoy the same commercial success in large part due to Nintendo's own marketing failures for the console. I mean, you know it's pretty bad when the only console that performed worse was the Virtual Boy. But what really went wrong for the Wii U? Sure, Nintendo's lack of proper marketing for this thing left people confused as to what the Wii U actually was, and as I outlined in my previous video, if there's one thing to learn from Sega's failures with the Dreamcast, it can be a bad idea to release a console in the middle of a new generation. But the fact of the matter is, there just weren't that many games for the Wii U. Nintendo lacked a third-party support for its new console in large part due to its underpowered hardware. Compared to the Wii U, the PS4, which was released 1 year after the Wii U, had over 400 more games available in its library, had a 3.44 times faster CPU, 6 gigabytes more of RAM, and a GPU that was 250 megahertz faster. Third-party game developers did not make Wii U ports for the simple fact that they would have to completely downgrade their graphics in order for the games to even run properly. So they instead opted to wait for the PS4 and Xbox One to release their new titles. On top of a lack of third-party support, the Wii U even had a lack of first-party support from Nintendo themselves. There was not one single must-have launch title for this console. The key selling points were the backwards compatibility for Wii games, where I personally think much of the confusion came from the Wii U. I mean, I can't speak for everyone back then, but I personally thought the Wii U was just a new gamepad accessory for the Wii. I had no idea that it was an entirely new console in its own right. The other key selling point for the Wii U was the Wii U gamepad, which I thought was amazing, and in hindsight is easy to appreciate as being the blueprint for what would eventually become the Nintendo Switch. The Wii U gamepad served as the Wii U's primary controller. It was bulky in size, but came with a touchscreen and introduced Amiibo support. The gamepad served its purpose well when playing through Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD, housing the game's map and item bag in convenient fashion. The gamepad could also serve as the remote control for the TV itself, coming equipped with a full programmability so the power button could work for both the TV and Wii U itself. Additionally, the gamepad could serve as the primary screen that the game's displayed on, in case you wanted to watch a movie or something on the TV and play games portably on the gamepad. It's really in this portable mode you began to see similarities to eventually what would become the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo managed to take something that failed in the Wii U and turn it into one of the best-selling consoles in history, and for that, I believe respect is deserved on Nintendo's part. When I picked up the Wii U gamepad for the first time to start playing, I was completely oblivious to what was being said about the console on the internet, and I can honestly say I really enjoyed my time playing it. I have a lot of great memories just creating and playing through nearly impossible Mario levels on Super Mario Maker, and it was a blast to relive the best parts of my childhood playing through Wind Waker and Twilight Princess again. I really wish I could be transported to a timeline where the Wii U was more successful, because I truly believe the console received more negative press than was warranted. But at the same time, I can't say I blame anyone who disliked the Wii U, as a $300 price tag for something that would only receive a handful of games worth your time in a 5-year time span is a little bold to say the least. Another negative to the console was the fact that it did not double as a DVD or Blu-ray player, technology that had been a consistent feature in consoles since 2000. I'm not sure what Nintendo was thinking on that one. It did, however, have streaming services available on the eShop, but back then they weren't as popular as they are now. Something else that the Wii U didn't support was the ability to play your GameCube games. Yes, the Wii U was responsible for the final nail in the coffin for the GameCube. It did have 100% backwards compatibility with the Wii, but I remember being extremely disappointed that I couldn't play my favorite GameCube titles on this, as by that point my GameCube had already gone to the store for milk and cigarettes and would not be returning home again. The Virtual Console was something I never had a chance to dip my toes into because of a lack of internet at my house. That's a topic for another day. But with a list of over 300 games from consoles that ranged from the NES, SNES, N64, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, and everyone's favorite TurboGrafx 16, was a really awesome feature in hindsight that I wish I could have taken advantage of. In fact, as of the posting of this video, the Virtual Console on the Wii U is actually still operational in 2022. So if you still have one of these laying around somewhere, it might be worth your time to grab a slew of your favorite games, as the Virtual Console will officially be discontinued by Nintendo in 2023, and for now at least, it seems like this will be the only way to play Game Boy and Nintendo Nintendo DS games on more modern hardware. So just a side note, but I think it's worth considering at least. Unless of course Nintendo wants to add Nintendo DS and Game Boy to the Nintendo Switch Online bundle, please. As I mentioned before, this console did not have very many games released for it, but most of the games that did come out were really memorable and fun. Nintendo Land was the Wii U's version of Wii Sports that shipped with the console, and was a mini-tech showcase of what the gamepad could be capable of. Super Mario Maker provided hours of entertainment in trying to create the most sinister and sadistic levels that nobody but you could beat. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD felt like an apology letter to GameCube enthusiasts who wished the console was backwards compatible and were damn good HD remakes that improved already timeless games. Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS were good, but not great entries in the series that would hold fans over for a few years until the Switch was released, and even allowed you to utilize the 3DS as an additional controller in local matches. For some, just the games I mentioned would be enough to justify a purchase, but I do think the potential of the Wii U was never fully realized, and it's a shame it took Nintendo until the Switch to allow indie developers to start releasing games on a larger scale on their eShop, because I think the Wii U could have really benefited from having more indie titles released for it. Even 10 years after the release of the Wii U and another successful Nintendo console under their belts since, the Wii U still lives in my head rent-free. I still remember getting this thing for Christmas back in 2012 and hearing that jingle of the console booting up a game with the Wii U logo displayed on the screen. Another thing I miss from Nintendo consoles of that era are those ambient menu screens with all the little Miis running around everywhere. This is something I think is missing from the Switch today, and I think about it every time I boot mine up and see those lifeless tiles with nothing but thumbnails of the games I'll be playing on them. Maybe it was just the timing of this thing in relation to my own life, as it was really the last Nintendo console I would own in my adolescence, but I had some of my fondest memories gaming on the Wii U, and to me, it will always be one of the biggest what-if scenarios in gaming history. Despite my desires never being able to come true of seeing the Wii U succeed the way I believed it should have, I can live in peace knowing the Nintendo Switch never would have existed without it. So the next time you pick up your Nintendo Switch, take a moment to appreciate that you're holding 10 years of trial and error in your hands, because the console that made the Switch possible had to walk so the Switch could run and become the successful titan that it is today. And even if you disagreed with everything I said about the Wii U up until this point, it's still the last console you were able to play Super Mario Galaxy 2 on, so that alone I think makes your opinion completely invalidated.